Alright, so today guys, we're working on this 2019 Kia Sorento, so let's jump right into it. So first we'll get off this oil fill cap. Now we'll take out our oil dipstick. This will allow some air to get in as we're draining the oil. It allows for a quick drain. This is our area concentration, but let's get up under the vehicle. Where we have our oil draining, you'll need a 17 mil for that. As you can see, I already have the splash shield already removed, and it's right over here. You can see it's a bunch of bolts that hold that up. I have a oil change video that I'll link up here at the top so that you can check that out to see how to get that off. But let's move over here to the side. I'll slow this video down a little bit for you so you can see what I am seeing. I have the splash shield removed already. That's a big part of this job, which is not a big part at all. And here we have the hardware over here, just a few nuts and some fasteners. A trim tool works perfect for getting that splash shield off, and I believe it's 10 mil to get the nut off. So looking over here, you just have 4 bolts that are securing this oil filter housing in, and that's all that's stopping you from the massive oil leak that this produces. You can see I have some oil leakage all around the housing, even on the splash shield. When you see that shot of the splash shield, you can see that it was also oil there. But it's oil all over the bottom of the engine and on the filter housing itself. I just want to slow that down to give you an idea of the area that you're working with. We'll first take off the cap so that we can release the rest of the oil in there and take the filter out. And if you want to save the cap for a spare cap, you could. I got rid of mine. You're going to need a 27mm socket to get that off. Alright guys, and this is where I met my conclusion. Just cranking this thing to get it off of the filter housing, you could probably assume that this is probably the reason why this thing leaks. Outside of it being that the gasket flattens, I would probably take a wild guess and think that it's just because you are always cranking down on that cap, and it probably flexes the housing a little bit on top of it being heated up, or you changing it while it's hot. I'm just assuming that it warps from all of the pressure that it's under. And when you look at the design of it, you will probably think like, why wouldn't it, why wouldn't it malfunction? But either way guys, those 4 bolts, just get them off and get those bolts over to the bench and get them cleaned up. They have black RTV at the end of them. But I'm going to be replacing the black RTV with this Loctite. That's not what was in here, but that's what I'm going to go with. It don't seem like these bolts come in contact with oil. That'll probably be my only concern, that it's coming in contact with oil. But it doesn't seem that they're coming in contact with oil. But if you feel safe using the RTV, then use the RTV over. I'm going to use the Loctite. So either way, guys, let's get these all cleaned up. I'm using a non-abrasive wire brush just to get this stuff off. And I'll spare you talking through it. You could just watch me. Alright guys, so we got those all cleaned up. So for me, again, I'm adding Loctite to mine. What was there was black RTV, and you can add that back. I'm just a DIY guy figuring things out, so that's what I'm putting there. Right now I have some plugs in there. I have some rubber plugs so that I can actually clean the surface of the filter housing. I'm actually using some soap and water, some ultra detergent or some ultra concentrated detergent, just to get the grease and grime off of there, so I have a good surface to mount to. I'll clean that up with a little bit of water, and I'll actually go back and hit it with some brake cleaner just to dry up any water that may be present on the surface, because that's something that you don't want on a surface, on a metal surface. It'll actually rust it. Alrighty guys, when we have our part here, we got it off Amazon for $65. It was like $10 or $15 shipping additional. So it wasn't too much, it was a pretty good price. There's the part number there if you should need it. So we're just going to get our Loctite on our bolts and we're going to get this thing thrown back in there. It came with the filter, it came with the gasket in the inside. What more could you ask for? Also for the gasket that goes in between the housing and the engine. So that was a great deal. Alright, so again, we're going to get our Loctite in there and we're just going to slap this right back on there. We're going to lock everything down to 15, 16, I believe it's 16 foot-pounds. I actually locked mine down a little bit more closer to 20 foot-pounds. You don't want to overdo this. Look up your manufacturer specification, but again, you don't want to overdo this because this is plastic, mating up to metal, and it's just prone to probably warp. So we got that all situated. We'll get our suspension area cleaned up. Just get all of this old dirty oil that leaked down from the oil filter housing cleaned up, and then we'll get everything situated. One thing that I did do when I bought the oil filter housing is I actually went out and bought another filter as well. Knowing that a filter would come with this, I bought another filter just so I can get the crush washer because I knew I was going to be changing the oil again. So I got the crush washer so that I can add it back to the oil filter plug. Alright, so let's just get that back on there. We'll actually clean the area for the oil plug as well so that we can get it there and seat it properly. I don't have the specifications for the torque, but I'm pretty sure you can find that online somewhere. I usually just hand tighten it to, well actually I don't hand tighten, I wrist tighten it so to where as though my wrist can't mechanically close it anymore. That's where I stop. Alright, and that's your demonstration, and we're pretty much done under here. You will obviously put the splash shield back on. I'm not going to do that here. We'll get back to the top of the vehicle and start adding back the oil. And then we'll finish off with getting to the side and add back the splash shield. Alright, so whatever your preference is on oil, I go to Costco, I use their synthetic. It's pretty good. As you can see, all of that dirty oil has leaked out of that splash shield for beneath the car, but now we'll get back over to the side. We'll add our clips back and add our nuts back so that we can wrap this job up and get out of here. Alrighty guys, and a lot of this is self-explanatory. It's a done deal. It's pretty much a wrap here. As you can see, this was not a hard job at all. Just took a little patience and know how I'm actually not going to put the tire back on for you, because after this job, I'm actually doing another job. I'm actually going to do my transmission flush, which is not a genuine transmission flush. It's going to just be I'll call it a transmission exchange. I'll simply just empty out what I have in the transmission oil pan, refill it, and then a couple oil changes down the line, I'll do the same thing. So by that time, it would have had a chance to mix with the transmission fluid and the torque converter, and I would have had semi-changed the transmission fluid, and I'll do it a third time after like 3 oil changes. So I'm kind of cleaning my fluid. Not completely, but cleaning it good enough. Some people actually call that a transmission flush, but we know better than that. Anyway guys, we're wrapped up here. It was a simple job. As you can see, it was easy to get to. A lot of little small parts to do, but all in all, it was a job that you can accomplish. Don't let these dealerships take you to the cleaners. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully this helped you. If so, like, comment, subscribe, and share, please. And also consider giving. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Fell victim to my hatred. Girl, I never faked this. Tying up my laces. Gotta chase it till I make it. Drowning liquor, no vacation. Part of a path that was destined for me.